you hear that? In the world of high-precision engineering, that is the most expensive sound you will ever hear. It is the sound of a bank account dying. In 2018, a paper mill in Sweden had to shut down its primary roller for 3 days. The cost of that downtime? Approximately $250,000 in lost production. The culprit wasn't a cyber attack, it wasn't a power grid failure, it was this, a generic, unbranded bearing that cost exactly $4 less than the reputable version. Today we are going deep. We are talking metallurgy, physics, and the brutal economics of why cheap bearings are the single most expensive thing you can ever buy. A bearing has one job: to constrain motion. It has to allow something to spin while supporting a massive load with near zero friction for billions of cycles. The rolling elements, the balls or rollers, sit inside a cage. This cage prevents them from rubbing against each other, which would create catastrophic friction. The load isn't distributed, it's concentrated on microscopic contact points. We call this Hertzian contact stress, where pressures exceed 300,000 psi. To survive that pressure, the steel must be perfect. Premium manufacturers use ultra-clean, vacuum degassed chrome steel. Cheap versions? They use recycled scrap. When you buy a $6 bearing, you're buying potholes. Microscopic inclusions of non-metallic junk embedded right inside the metal structure. As the ball rolls over that impurity 5,000 times a minute, it creates a stress riser. Eventually, the metal fatigues and chunks flake off. This is called spalling. Once spalling starts, it releases metal chips into the grease. Those chips act like sandpaper, destroying the rest of the precision surfaces in seconds. Look at the difference in surface finish. Premium bearings are polished to a sub-micron level. The cheap ones look like the surface of the moon by comparison. Rough surfaces mean more friction. Friction means heat. Heat causes the grease to break down chemically, and when the grease dies, the machine dies. So the bearing seizes. You just replace it, right? Wrong. When a bearing locks up at high RPM, it often spins on the shaft itself. We call this spinning a bearing. The bearing cuts into the precision ground shaft. Now you don't just need a $10 part, you need a $5,000 shaft and days of labor to install it. I've seen bearings get so hot they weld themselves to the housing. That heat travels, cooking your hydraulic seals and melting motor insulation. This is the false economy. You save $40 today, but you're signing a $12,000 check for tomorrow. It is a mathematical certainty. But here's the scariest part. Sometimes you think you bought the expensive bearing. The global market is currently flooded with high-quality counterfeits. In one raid alone, authorities seized 15 tons of fakes. These weren't for skateboards. They were headed for industrial pumps, cars, and medical equipment. How do you spot them? Check the font. Real precision bearings have laser etching that is perfectly crisp. Fakes often have blurry or uneven lettering. Check the packaging. If the plastic wrap looks like it was sealed with a hair straightener or the box colors are slightly off, be incredibly suspicious. Rule number 1, buy from authorized distributors. Never buy critical industrial components from random online marketplaces just to save a few bucks. Understand your specs. ABEC ratings define how precise a bearing is. If your machine needs an ABEC 7 and you put in a cheap ABEC 1, it will vibrate itself to death. And then there's C clearance. A C3 bearing is designed to be slightly loose to handle thermal expansion. A standard cheap bearing will expand, bind, and explode. Lubrication is law. Even a $100 bearing will die in an hour if you use the wrong grease. Match the lubricant to the operating temperature and RPM. You aren't just paying for a brand name. You're paying for the steel purity, the precision of the heat treatment, and the geometric perfection of the races. The next time you see a bearing that costs the price of a coffee, ask yourself, is this really worth the price of the machine it's holding up? Precision is what keeps the modern world moving. From the wheels on your car to the turbines in a power plant, there is no room for cheap. If you enjoyed this deep dive, check out our video on why bolts come loose right here. Thanks for watching and keep it spinning. Engineering is the art of never taking a free lunch. We'll see you in the next one.